Kennan. Welcome to my deep dive into the differences between the content in the math sections of the classic SAT and the new digital SAT. I skipped the beach one weekend and twice went through question by question, analyzing the four new digital SAT sample tests to compare them with the 10 classic sample tests from before. And then I created these amazing pie charts. And we'll take a closer look at those in a bit. In this video, I will cover what's gone, what's less common, what's new, what's more common, what's the same, and lastly, what's changed. Let's start with what's gone. Multi-part questions are history. No more having to flip through the pages trying to find all the information you need just to answer one question. Hooray! Also, you no longer have to contemplate imaginary numbers. They've been removed from the test. Imagine that. The no calculator section has been obliterated. You can use a calculator on the entire test now, and there's even a Desmos calculator built into the test. 14 math problems are gone. And now there are only 44 instead of, well, you can do the math, can't you? 58. 10 minutes of math are gone. Hooray! The math test is now two 35-minute sections instead of a 25-minute and 55-minute section. That the wording for the problems has gotten shorter. The SAT even mentions that the more concise wording is an intended part of the redesign. It's hard for me to quantify the exact difference precisely, but after reading these questions for nearly 10 years, it's very noticeable to me. Here's an example of nearly the same question and how the question is now in a shorter form on the digital SAT versus how it was before. Another thing that's gone is the 5-minute break between math sections. Since you don't need to find your calculator for the second section, there's no need for a break. Now, let's look at what's less common. Repetition. Let me say that again. Repetition. With fewer questions, they can't afford to repeat topics multiple times. Most skills appear only once, if at all. So you'll find yourself preparing for 80 topics, but only getting asked 44 questions. Line problems used to dominate this test. They were the number one topic at 15%. Now they appear less than half as often at only about 7%. Basic equation solving is less common. It used to be the second most common topic. Now it's down from 13% to about 5%. I have a feeling if a student does poorly on the first module and the test gives them the easier second module, they will probably get more line and equation solving problems instead of the more advanced questions reserved for the students that are going to get a good score. Statistics questions like mean, median, range, margin of error, and standard deviation seem less frequent. In fact, I never found a question about sampling errors or spotting bias. Maybe spotting bias isn't important anymore. It was striking to me how an entire test might not ask you to compute a median or a mean, whereas both topics would always appear on the classic SAT. Interpreting data, which was the basic reading of graphs, charts, and tables, took a huge hit, down from 6% to 1%. The lack of repetition and the decreased number of questions means that I found 11 of the 22 categories having 3% or fewer questions. That's 11 out of 22. Half of the categories only have 3% or less of the questions. In the past, there were 5 topics that appeared this infrequently. Now, let's talk about what's been added. No topics have been added. You can have negative numbers for the short answer questions now. In the past, there was not a negative sign that you could bubble in on the bubble sheet. But now that it's computerized, you can. Now that's progress. You will always have a calculator available, and it's built right into the testing app that they call the Blue Book app. The ability to mark questions for review, as well as the ability to quickly jump around to any question that you need to review, has been added. The test is now called an adaptive test. Please watch my separate video that explains what adaptive means in detail. Now, let's discuss what's more common. There's much more geometry, and geometry is now tied for first place in question frequency. Luckily for you, the geometry questions that I saw are generally very simple. So maybe it's a good thing that now there's about 13% geometry questions instead of just 8. I always thought it was weird that students studied geometry for an entire year and even a good part of middle school only to have it be less than 10% of the SAT. If you love geometry, you might want to take the ACT. It's about 25 to 40% geometry, depending upon how you count it. Okay, the number of questions on exponential functions appears to be growing exponentially, approximately doubling. Exponential functions are now tied for the fourth most common question. Another thing that seems to be more common are graphs that include translations, because those are nearly impossible to graph in Desmos. I solved some translation problems in this video, so check that out. The discriminant appears on every practice test. Do you even know what the discriminant is? I solved that in a video as well. In the past, the test rarely had numbers above 20. After all, it's a college entrance exam. It can't be too hard. But now, problems and answers over 100 seem to happen from time to time because they know you have a calculator at all times. An actual hard question or two that can take several minutes to solve appear on these new practice tests. I never encountered problems that took more than just a few of my seconds to solve in the past. So this is a noticeable change. Please watch my series where I solve the hardest problems from the practice tests by clicking the link up there. Now, let's talk about what's the same. Scoring. It's still a 1600 point test. Factoring, FOIL, parabolas, quadratics, and roots are all sort of one big topic, and they still dominate this test. It's tied with geometry for first place at about 13%. This topic continues to generally represent many of the hardest problems on the test. Systems of equations seems to have stayed about the same at 10%. Writing equations and inequalities continues to be one of the top topics on the test. Now, there's one topic left to discuss, and that's what's changed. But before we dive into it, please take a second to like this video. And because I'm creating lots of somewhat funny videos that carefully explain SAT problems, strategies, skills, and concepts, please subscribe to my channel so I can help you improve your SAT score. And of course, don't forget to share with your friends. Now, for the grand finale, what's changed? It's digital. You need to bring your laptop or iPad. The SAT does make devices available to students who reserve them in advance as well. Sections are now called modules. Now that you have a calculator at all times, all math topics appear on either section, module. Previously, unit conversion, percents, probability, statistics almost exclusively appeared on section 4, but now they are scattered on both modules. Short answer questions, the ones that aren't A, B, C, or D, are now mixed throughout the exam and no longer reserved for just the last couple questions at the end of each module. Here's one last look at the digital content. Both pie charts are linked in the description if you want to take a closer look. If you have taken the digital SAT or PSAT, please leave a comment below and let me know what you noticed. I hope this helps you on test day. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.